second hour of the closing bell. Here we go.
Another record close for the S&P 500, and after we settle, it looks like we are heading into a record close for the Dow Jones Industrial Average. Welcome to the closing bell. I'm Sarah Eisen, in today for Kelly Evans. Bill Griffith's going to join me here in a moment. Here is how we are finishing out the day, the last trading day of the month of May on Wall Street. 16,714. It looks like we are just below a record high on the Dow Jones Industrial Average. 16,715 would have been the record high, but still finishing out in the green. The Nasdaq Composite is lagging behind, but still it has been the outperformer on the month. The S&P 500 hitting another record high and closing above it, 1923.42. Let's get straight to it with today's panel today. Andrew Stoltman from Stoltman Law Office. Andrew, I'm curious your take here as we set record highs in the Dow and the S&P. Are you feeling the exuberance, the irrational exuberance from where you sit?
I'm not feeling the euphoria. And the scary thing is,
you're a lawyer. You're not supposed to.
If the retail investors don't get back into this market, or if they get scared by some of the numbers out there, there's no telling what this market can do. We're at all-time highs. I think this is the risky sort of market that a lot of retail customers, a lot of retail investors are going to try to avoid. I think there's a lot of risk built into this, the numbers right now. Such a rosy scenario is baked into this market. I think if anything goes off the rails, I think those expectations are going to bring this market down and bring it down substantially. And I think that's scary.
All right. Our next guest has been tracking the months of May and June, as well as the other months, for almost 50 years.
Yeah, the company's been around a long time. Jeff Hirsch, editor-in-chief of Stock Traders Almanac. Your dad started it. You haven't been doing this for 50 years, I know.
No.
But how does June look? What's the seasonal tendency there? It's down, isn't it?
For June, yeah, and it's worse in midterm years. I mean, it's the worst month on the Dow and the S&P. It's like ranked 10th for the NASDAQ and Russell 2000, all negative numbers, and that's in midterm years. It's down like 11 of the last 18 for the S&P. So, after this big May, which, some of us like to sell at the high, but we don't go away, you might want to be careful going into June. We're kind of positioned sort of neutrally right now.
Jeff, I think your numbers, though, primarily look at the Dow over the last 50 or 75 years, don't they? Did you look at the other indexes as well?
Dow, S&P, NASDAQ, Russell. The NASDAQ and the Russell 2000 have a best 8 months that runs through June. And the S&P's got a lot of that tech in there that's in the NASDAQ. So that gets a little bit more of a push into June. So, it's really the July through October period. We've seen a lot of that weakness in August and September. So sell them and go away is an old British saw. It's not the best 6-month switching strategy out of the Almanac.
Yeah. Former Microsoft CEO Steve Ballmer reportedly buying the Clippers for a record $2 billion. And just to put that number into perspective for you, the previous record sale for an NBA team was the Milwaukee Bucks. Recently as April, actually, sold for $550 million.
And Forbes had said they were worth $400 million or thereabouts, the Clippers. So it's quite a
Nobody
premium.
predicted $2 billion.
Let's not forget also, you were going to have a bidding war for this team anyway. Look at the number of high-profile people who were coming out. It doesn't say they were all going to go bidding, but there were plenty of people who were showing genuine interest in buying this team for whatever reason. There was going to be a bidding war. The Sterlings were saying, look, if you're willing to pony up the deal, the money right now, you can make a preemptive strike. And Steve Ballmer wasn't going to get away with paying $1.1 billion, which was what everybody thought was going to have to be the price tag if everybody else has come calling. So right now, he has to pay what he thinks he can pay to get the team without a bidding war going on. Don't you think, Andrew?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, Ballmer wanted to buy the Sacramento Kings a couple of years back. He didn't get in because he underbid. So something is, of course, worth what somebody will pay, but there's no economic justification as an investment. But if it's a toy, if it's a trinket, if it's like a Ferrari, so be it.
And, this is Steve Ballmer just saying, I don't care what it takes. This is a lights-out bid that no one else will rationally ever touch.
That's right. And
exactly.
The Milwaukee Bucks, 2 months ago, sold for about $550 million. Nobody can justify.
But that's a tiny market.
Yeah, it's a tiny market, but it's still an NBA franchise, and it's just hard to justify a valuation, even in a much larger market, 3 to 4 times.
And you know what?
Drugs, prostitution, and GDP.
Yes, you've just joined the fun here on Closing Bell.
Which one doesn't belong there? Well, actually, the UK Office of National Statistics found that these illegal acts actually boosted the economy by about £10 billion in 2009. So the UK has decided to include those numbers in the GDP report.
They're not kidding, we think. Is this something the U.S. should consider? That, and we'll talk about it, John.
Right.
Andrew Stoltman is our resident lawyer on the panel. You must be appalled that we're talking about these illegal activities and adding them to our economy.
Look, it's $16.5 billion a year. The GDP has to evolve. It has to accurately represent what economic activity is taking place. And whether you're moralistically against it or for it, it impacts the bottom line. So you have to include it. I think it's a no-brainer. Just because it's hard to measure doesn't mean you shouldn't at least try to measure it. I mean, you have this economic activity taking place. You got to try to gauge it.
How do you do
Next week should be very busy. We begin the month of June. Anybody want to start on that one? What are you expecting here? I mean, we've got a lot of important.
I just think we're going to see more bad stats, and I don't like this market. It's just so optimistic.
You are.
I know I'm a Debbie
What a
Downer
Debbie
this
Downer.
week. What can
Where
I
did this
say?
come from all of a
I don't-
sudden?
It's the clouds and the rain. I guess
You've
I'm
been
just
holding
depressed.
back all this
You
time.
know what? There have been a number of doomsayers and doom and gloom and wall of worry, and they've been wrong.
Yeah, look, I like it
Dead
for
wrong.
2009, by the
this
way.
month.
2009.
Yeah, I just wonder where all these bulls were in 2009 because there were so many people that were predicting another 10, 15, 20% decline. Where are those people now? Now they're optimistic. It's just tough to say.